Hi everyone and welcome to Homerino Collectibles, where today we're going to be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Hela from Thor Ragnarok, and this is part of the Hulk Build-A-Figure wave. Here you can see she comes with an arm and one of the weapons for the Hulk Build-A-Figure, and if we swap it around to the back you can see the figure, a small bio, and then everything else in the wave. I've recently reviewed this Thor right here, and next up we're going to take a look at this movie Loki. And everything else will follow shortly after as well, so go ahead and stay tuned to the channel if you want to see everything and the Build-A-Figure. So let's go ahead and get this thing open and take a closer look. And here's Hela out of the packaging, and that head sculpt is just stealing the show right now. That thing is massive and it looks amazing. You know, it's very light plastic. It's not going to make the figure, you know, top heavy or anything. Even with that and a cape, this figure is actually very easy to go ahead and stand. As you can see, there's only small heels on there. For the most part, they're basically just flat feet. So it is much easier to go ahead and stand. I'm really glad that this figure does not have big heels or something like that, so that is a great choice. So one thing with this head, I feel that it does definitely sit quite far high up on that ball joint. You can definitely see a lot of the joint within that neck. If I go ahead and just pop this head off, I'm just going to bring it in close to you right now. Here you can see that head with all the headdress there. You can see that green paintwork. You've got dark green around those pearly white eyes, and then it gets a little bit lighter that comes down to the cheek. The lips are done pretty nicely. That looks like it's a very kind of like loose little spray. And then we go on to the unmasked one right here, which is fantastic. I mean, you got the kind of purple around the eyes there. Very realistic looking. I mean, definitely looks like the actress. And I have to say, those veins above the eyes there on the forehead are incredible. They do actually look like real veins. I don't know how that is applied, whether it's a spray or a print or what, but that is amazing. And just how outlined the jaw is and the cheekbones and everything, it looks so damn realistic. This is awesome. I like how they've layered the hair here so that you've got the separate pieces so that it's more kind of dynamic with these pieces coming out. Very nice. But if I go ahead and put this on the figure, there's a much more satisfying click as it goes on, and you can see that you can't see the joint anymore, and it looks a lot more natural. Now, the other one doesn't look all that bad. Now, I do actually think there is a little lump just on the inside of the ball joint, inside there, in that socket, that stops this head from going all the way down. I can go ahead and sand that out with some tools, and like with a Dremel or something, and I can make it fit on just fine. So I do think it's just a problem with mine. I do think that it does sit on exactly the same as that head is right now. I don't think there's any problem with that at all. So as far as the other accessories go, we get this cape, which does actually just peg into a hole right there on the back, and it's pretty damn nice. It's more flexible than the one that we got with Thor. Again, doesn't have any kind of paint detail on it or anything. It just naturally looks pretty good and shines and shimmers in the light on its own. And if there is anything on there, then it's very subtle, because I can't really make it out too much. I think it's just the natural look of the plastic makes it look as though it's got some shining on, but it actually doesn't. When we have the nice metallic green up here at the top and they just rest over her shoulders, it all looks very nice indeed. Then we have the sword over here, which, yeah, this is why I don't like the soft rubbery plastic for weapons. It is warped to hell. As you can see, it's twisted and bent. Yes, it can be sorted out with some warm water or, you know, hot air gun or something, but seriously, like this, it just does not look great at all. The actual sculpt and everything and how it's meant to look is fantastic. As you can see, she definitely holds it well in her hand as well. It's just a shame that it is as bent as it is. Now over to the figure itself. Painted fingernails, that's awesome. Another thing that's awesome is on the forearms here, this is a separate plastic piece. You can see the detail underneath, and it's a separate plastic piece that sits over the top. So not only is it just molded and raised, but you can actually see through it right there. Really fantastic way of getting that detail in there. I hope to see this on a lot more figures. But not only are all these green sections actually raised up and painted separately, but the black section is all textured, as you can see. It looks phenomenal. There's no part of this figure that is not textured or looking fantastic. You know, even on the back there, they probably should have been painted green as well, but it is going to be covered up by the cape, so it doesn't matter too much. They saved a bit of time and money right there. But for the most part, it looks fantastic, and they also got the right skin tone there and everything as well, which is very nice. It is not the same as what we got on the other figures in the wave. Now, as for the articulation of this figure, this head can't look up as much as the other one because of all of that hair, but it can look all the way down. I mean, that is a hell of a lot of movement. And that's fantastic. We don't normally actually get a hinge on the female figure, so I'm very happy that they've put that in there. So you got the ball and hinge. The other one can actually look just as far up as this one can look down, so that is amazing. Obviously helps with those flying poses. We do actually see her flying in the movie, so that's pretty sweet. So this can actually look all the way up just like so. Obviously you get your rotation left and right because the hair is nice and wide. It doesn't get hindered or anything, and you get side to side pivot as well. My other one, because it doesn't quite sit as far down on the ball joint, can actually get even more articulation out of it too. So the shoulder rotates all the way up and all the way around. You got the rotation and the single joint at the elbow, and then rotation and the hinge there at the wrist as well. Torso moves left and right just fine and crunches back okay, but when you move forward it doesn't really move all that far, and then it looks pretty horrible at the back, so I would just definitely suggest just keep her straight up. The hips can move out to the side pretty much all the way. That looks great, and they move forward and just a little bit back. Rotation at the upper part of the thigh, double jointed knees, and then you do get the feet moving up and down, and they have ankle pivot. Just want to point out that my one leg does look a little bit bent right there, but she stands perfectly fine as a result. And one thing that I just found out whilst popping this head back on is that all of these separate pieces are actually individually attached. So as you can see, you can actually pop that out from there, and then you can pop these sections out from there as well. So you can completely unassemble the headdress right there. So you can have less spikes or more spikes. Yes, it does reveal the gaps in the head right there, but if you want to do it, you can do it. And here she is next to Thor from the same wave, who I've just reviewed. So Thor stands just over 7 inches. She actually stands pretty much exactly 7 inches tall to the top of the head right there. But with the headdress on to the top of those spikes, she actually stands just over 8 inches tall. So overall, this figure is pretty incredible. It looks fantastic, but it can be a bit hit and miss. I mean, with this being so warped, that's kind of annoying. And then obviously, with me having to do my own work on the head to make that fit properly, that's also kind of annoying. But for the most part, if you get it and it comes as it's supposed to, then it's definitely an amazing figure. I mean, the sculpt work alone, and then the accuracy on this head sculpt, and even that one as well, absolutely fantastic. The fact that these actually join up and come apart like that means they're more likely to actually, separate and come off, as opposed to actually just kind of snapping off, so that's very nice. It's always really good to get fantastic metallic paintwork against a matte body. This thing really stands out. It's very awesome. If you do have the Book of Ashanti version, it is definitely different enough for you to warrant picking this one up as well. That one is obviously more of a comic book looking one. It has the cloth cape, a very different headdress and stuff. I actually do still want that figure itself. But yeah, this figure is amazing, and I definitely recommend it. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a like. And if you want to see other videos from my collection, check out the ones that are on screen now, and check out my Instagram and Twitter. It's Homerino123 for both. Links are in the description below, and for the rest of the wave, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.